Hello! No one even knows I'm streaming yet, so I'm gonna give it some time. Let's see, pop out this chat. And I guess I'll wait for some people to come in to see what's going on. Just waiting for people. I hope that my music isn't too loud. Okay, so while I'm waiting for people, I don't know, because I need people for this stream to work, because I'm messing with Blender. Hello one person watching, welcome to the stream. I'm just waiting for people. I'm doing like a live Blender tutorial, so pretty much I kind of need people here to do what I want to do. So if you have any questions about Blender, I can answer it. So that's what I'm waiting for, is just questions, really. Basics to intermediate. I don't think I'm an expert at Blender, but I know a lot of stuff about it. Hopefully the music isn't too loud. I do, let me... Sorry guys. Creator. Let's link to this CD. I do have a license for the music that I'm using. And let's just go to... There we go. Hopefully somebody has some kind of idea they want to do with Blender. I guess I'll just kind of mess around a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm making right now. I'm just let me see. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's see, user. Huh, where is that stupid thing? Let's see. Sorry for being so quiet, guys, but nobody's got any questions, and I'm still trying to set this up. Okay. Let's see, text editor. That's annoying. Let's see. Oh, that's why. Duh. Okay. Not what I want to do. Ah! 2 people watching. Let me check chat really quick. Oh, 1 person watching, the other person left. Sigh. I guess I'm just gonna be stuck streaming games. Let's see, I guess for now I'll just try to make something. I don't know what. We'll make some kind of spaceship, I guess. That's what we'll make. I have no idea what I'm making, so we'll get down to the basic. shape here. And if you have any questions, let me know. I really want to get that stinking... Let me see if I just got this. Text editor, new. There we go. Start display. Okay, so in the bottom left corner you can see what keys and stuff I'm pushing. So that should be helpful. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Why does it only have the box width? Hey, what's going on, Hate? I need to find a way to... There we go. That'll work. It'll have to work. There we go. So I'm trying to do a live tutorial, which is kind of hard because I don't know, but I think I'm gonna make like a spaceship or something, and if you have any questions about Blender, I can answer them. I've got this thing going on, but it's not looking pretty. There we go. That's the way this is gonna work. But I want that mouse bigger. Okay, whatever. Now, what does the back of a spaceship look like? Okay, so I'm just trying to, right now what I'm doing is blocking out the shape, like the major shape of the thing, so that we can go in and add details later, because that's a really big thing that even I have problems with in modeling, is you want instantly to have something that looks cool, but you really, let's cut our time in half by, hello Pink Lady. What's going on? And guys, let me know if the music is too loud. If it's like louder than I am. I would be very much appreciative. So I just cut this thing in half. And what I'm gonna do is come over to this little panel area here, come over to this thing. This is like your modifier button, and I just want to hit this, the mirror button, and what that does is, you can't really see it now, you can kind of see it over here. It's the same on the back as it is on the front. That's not what we want. We want a mirror on the y-axis. So it creates a mirror here so that what we see on this side is the same on that side. Like that. So now, anything I do over here happens over there. And it saves a lot of time having to work over on that side. Let's see. And I'm just trying to... I really like the way this looks right now. Just trying to block out a little spaceship that we can go in and add details. Ah, that's not cheating. That's how it's done, son. That was fun to say. I think what I want to do is pull these up a little bit. Okay. And then I guess now I'll go ahead and pull all this out. I can also, you've got different ways of selecting stuff. I can just select these whole pieces, or I can go in and select these individual little points, or even I can come in and select these lines. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. I usually just like to mess around with the points. It takes longer sometimes with like doing this, but it allows for finer selections and stuff. Now I don't know how a wing actually works, but I imagine it's not like this. That actually looks kind of cool. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit more. G on the Y. G on the Z. So what I'm doing whenever when I move things and these lines appear, I'm hitting G, which is it means grab, so you can grab this little guy and you can move it wherever you want. But because you're looking at it in 3D space, it's kind of hard to move it just straight up and actually know where you're moving it, because you don't actually know. Like this looks like it's straight up, but in all reality it's further to the forward side of the ship. So what I'm going to do is just hit G, which is grab, and then I'm going to hit Z, which constrains it to my Z axis, which in Blender is up and down. So now I can't move it left or right, it only moves straight up and down. So I can't move it left, right, forward, backward, just up and down, which is really helpful. If I hit G twice, I can move it along the line that it's already in. So that's another helpful thing. And I just want to move this up and back. I want to move all these kind of up and back along their lines, so that I create like a there we go. Move this one up a little bit more. G on the X. And tab, if I press tab, it takes me in and out of edit mode. So now we got this little shuttle. And if we wanted to, there's no reason to do it yet, but we can hit the smooth button, which gets rid of those flat looking faces. And you get to see kind of what your thing looks like smooth, if it all kind of molded together. And then I can hit Shift and Z, which would change us to a rendered mode. And there we go, look at that. I'll just change some settings over here. And put it in like a space, a dark space. And we're starting to get somewhere. We got a little thing. Let's change this into a different kind of light. Change it to a sun lamp, which basically means a huge amount of light coming from one single direction. And that is too much light. But we can change how much light. Let's just change it to 1 for now. There we go. Woo! Okay. And because this is live rendering, it's going to task my computer a little bit. So now we can move on to some more, because I think this is the shape I want generally for this little ship. I don't want to make anything too futuristic-y or anything like that. I just want to make a little shuttle ship. So now we're going to move on to like just adding small details. And the first thing I want to do is make what I'm working on a little bit more clear. So I'm going to select my object first, come over to this modifier panel. I'm going to add another modifier which cuts some work out of the thing. It's called Subdivision Surface. And basically what it does is it cuts let's see. It cuts your things up. So you see here, it adds detail without you having to worry about the detail added. So here you can see there are 4 faces inside of this one single face. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's there. And if I up the resolution here, it just creates more cuts, and you can really start to see that take effect as you move up. There we go. See, it's starting to really, and the more of those that there are, the more it smooths transitions and stuff out. So we're gonna go ahead and stick with 2 for now. And the way to, so let's say we're doing this, and I don't want this to be, I want it to look mechanical. I don't want it to look like a weird fin coming out of a weird fish creature. So what I gotta do is I use Control R to create a potential cut, which would do that. See? And now I've got that extra bit here. And what that does is if I move it closer to this, it makes it a sharper angle. So now that's a heck of a lot sharper. And it almost looks mechanical. Not quite though. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do that. And then come and select these 2. And just actually, let's select those. And then these. I'm just going to scale up on the Z-axis, which would cut a lot of time off of what we're doing. And there we go, look at that, looks good. But see, because we added that in there, we've got this weird... I don't think I would put this in any orifice of my body. I wouldn't even put this in my mouth. So now we've got the problem here where it's creating this band of like a flat spot here. And that's annoying, so we're gonna have to work that out. Work out how to get rid of that. So what I'm gonna do is just double grab this GG, which moves it along that line that it's already on. And then I can do this. Which I kind of like the way it's turning out now. See, and then this is already, I've realized now that I kind of Should have had this all fixed before. Ooh, that doesn't look good. So let's just, I'll have to manually work on how that one works. Let's see. Control 1. G on the X. G on the Z. And see, I wasn't constraining myself to like any axis, so it kind of fucked everything up. So what I went ahead and did there was just scaled everything in this selection, which I selected the whole loop with Alt and right click, which, see, it selects like whole loops of things. And then I just push scale on the y-axis and I hit 0 on my num keypad so that it made everything flat and compressed it all. And then I'm gonna come over here and hit clipping, just that way I can't move them away. So now they're stuck no matter what. I can only make it do weird undulating stuff. I might pull these guys down on the Z-axis a little bit. And then I'm going to hit G on the X, and I'm going to hold Control, actually. So here's what you're snapping. This down here, this area, is your snap target and like your snap elements. Then you can turn snapping on and off, so now it's like automatically snapping. See that? I don't really use automatic snapping because if I use just regular movements, I can press Control and it turns snapping on, and I can let go of Control and it turns it off. So I mean, you don't really need to turn snapping on. You want it to snap to the closest vertex point, which is what these are called. So now that I'm snapping to vertices, which is plural for vertex, I can move stuff more or less the way I want to. I forgot what I was moving before. Yikes. Let's see. Control 1. Okay, that text is fucking huge. There we go. Okay, I see what I was moving now. But it's not really helpful because I gotta use this. This does not look right, so let's see. What is going on? Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So I've got some kind of weird error happening here where you can see the split now for some reason. So I gotta figure out what's going on with that. So to figure out what's happening, you gotta do some, well, yeah, it's split somewhere. That's all. We still get a little bit of that bump there, which is not pretty, but it's fixable. Okay. I don't know if this is what I want to do or not, but I know what I'm gonna. Let's see what this does. We'll select all these here, and I'm just gonna come over and use the smooth tool to like smooth out these vertices. Ooh. I don't like what happened there. Okay, the nose here is just too nose-like for me. I don't like it. I want it to be more. I want it to be more rounded. So on the Y. On the Y. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking the way this is looking now. And then what I'll do, this is a cool trick. So I've got these two faces selected. And I don't want to, so I just hit E, which extrudes them out, which, as you can see, if I scale it down, it creates like a little bit of a little border. And because I've got those lines so close together, it makes it sharp. I'm gonna delete those. Okay, so now I've got to figure out. There we go. I can only use one. 2, 3, 4. So now we've got our little window here for our whole spaceship. It's a little bit small. I might move that back somehow. Let's see. Coming down here and just grab you. That's looking a lot better. So let's grab this top bit here. I just want to make sure I've got everything selected, and then I'm going to come into a side view and just move it up and back to where I think is appropriate. And I'm going to do that with all these little pieces. And this is really where doing stuff like this is all up to you. It's what you think looks good for your design. And there's a lot of tinkering involved with this. Lots of just, let me see how this looks. you do it and you find out you don't like it. I like that a lot better. I'll probably go in and mess with stuff where the light, see how the lights are acting there. But right now, this is what our spaceship looks like. Gonna want to come back here. I'll probably get rid of this. And what I just did was change my center point that I'm moving everything around and scaling everything around. It moved from being the middle point of everything I have selected to this little target looking thing over here, which is called a 3D cursor. So if I scale down right now, if I were to make it smaller, it would get smaller in this direction and also move towards this direction because it's scaling to get smaller until it reaches here. So see, because that's what it's moving around. So I'm doing that so that I can scale to the middle rather than the middle of the whole circle here. Because if I go to the middle of what I have selected, it would be the middle of just this side that is actually a piece, because this isn't real over here. So I do that, and the way I can get around it shrinking in to that spot there is I can push Shift and X, and what that Shift X is everything. It excludes that orientation, that axis, I guess is the best way to put it. So let's S and then Shift X, and so you can see it, you have a blue line and a green line which represents a Z and Y, and now it won't go in towards it won't move in that direction. If I were to grab it to move it around like this, if I push Shift X, I can't move it forward or backward relative to the ship. Pretty neat trick. Okay, so S on the Shift X. And now I just want to make it smaller. And I'm going to move it in now towards the X, but on my terms, not on the size. And one more time, extrude on the Shift X, or G on the X, and then S on the Shift X, G on the X, move that in actually. Shift X, and we'll just make our faces now, which really all I gotta do is extrude these out on the Y axis straight across and then build two faces. We got this cool little divot in the back, which is okay because what I want to do, I don't really need that there. I do need it to be sharper than that. G on the X, we'll use Control and make just tighten up our geometry around that so it looks nice and mechanical. So we got like that hard edge there. G on the X, pull it out a little bit more. There we go. S on the X to 0. Because it's focused around that the 3D cursor here. When I put 0, that's 0. The 0 point is the 3D cursor. So what I got to do is go back, just take comma, and push S on the X, and now 0 will take it to the flatten everything. So everything is relatively at 0. G on the X, there we go. Okay, that's cool. Let me see what's going on over here. I guess we got a Twitter thing, Twitter alert. And so I see this little point coming up here. I'm not really digging that point. I like it much better on the bottom than on the top. So I'm just going to try to see if I can't move this down a little bit to get rid of that point. Actually, what I'll do is this, and I'll deselect all this stuff on the bottom. Probably this too. No, I want to have this stuff selected. Just move it up on the Z-axis a little bit. I'll leave you alone for now, and then everything else. There we go. That's looking much better. And I'll create a separate object to put into here so that I can just intersect it and mess with it freely. And I'll probably attach it to this mesh later, but for right now I just want to keep them separated so that it's not too much whenever I'm looking at the X-ray view. Shift A, mesh, cylinder. We've got a cylinder here now. I'm going to push R on the Y-axis so it rotates on Y, 90 degrees. I just did that by typing 90. G on the X, we'll stick that there and tab into it. G on the X. So now I want to make this little guy more circular to fit with what I'm looking at here. Which means I'm gonna have to move that back up. Dang it! So it's actually I don't really have to move that back up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this and I think it says no, it doesn't. Cool. Okay, and I'm going to change my view over here. Control 1, Control 3. There we go. So now I can see this view pretty well. And press C. No, I want it to be like this. And now I can move it around. And actually I have a great idea. I can move, if I move this to just fit right outside this circle here, I know I'll have a pretty good circle. I just have to look at it carefully as I do it. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to GG those to move them away from the other one so it's not so sharp, and then just, let's see, let's do that. We're getting a little bit of distortion here. Okay, there we go. G on the Y. There we go. Okay. We are getting this. This is exciting. So if I can just get this like down here like that, and then I get these guys. I move them like here. That is all kinds of messed up right there. And just move that straight down on the Z-axis. There we go. We'll just select all these underbelly pieces. Just move those down. Sweet. Delete this face. Sweet. You know what? I just now noticed you said that. I have no idea. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I know exactly why. I do know why. Let me see. Actually, I don't know why. Let's see, where's pop out chat? It looks like the chat URL changed. There we go. Now it is. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. But now, okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, I just Alt and right clicked to select that loop. And I extruded it and I scaled it in. Okay, now I just want to carefully bring it to about the same. Okay, there we go. Now we got this little pseudo funnel. We can set to smooth and then just come in and sharpen up that edge there, there, and here. And what I'll do this is just scale these two little guys up and down respectively. And now we get this nice little thing there. And one way to make this look even cooler is on the inside. Set up little rings You can come in and select these. And again, I'm just alt and left clicking in between two faces, which tells it I want to select the whole ring that's here. So I selected that and I did that, and now I just want to extrude. I'm going to S for scale on the not x-axis, so Shift X. And now I'm just going to scale it in a little tiny bit. And I'll Control R to create an edge loop right there. And another one on that edge. And what that does is give us a little bitty ridge in there. And so now I can go in and just kind of do that along all those little things I made. So it just adds these little details that most people probably will never see. But if they weren't there, they'd be like, man, that looks really boring. So we're just going to do that really quick. Really doesn't take too long. And it just adds that much more detail. Control Z, Control R. There we go. So you see, it's just that much more interesting now. We hit Shift X. It's too dark back there to see. Well, let's put a light in there. Or, yeah, let's put a light in there. Lamp. And the X right there. So I'm guessing that this one isn't. What's going on here? Oh, it moved up somehow. That's annoying. There we go. So there, oh, that looks cool. And now if we can take this light, just go to its material properties, turn a little bit blue. There we go. I'm just playing around right now, guys, so up or on the Y 90. And this is just this isn't anything important that I'm doing now. I saw that and I want to make it look cool. So what I'm doing is I'm going to create just something to look at it and see what it might look like if it were expelling some kind of some kind of stuff, I don't know, whatever, plasma, you know, space stuff. So what I'm going to do is come in here, we'll hide that one. And then I want to use, this is called proportional editing, which does a really cool thing. If I hit connected and I move it, it moves everything that's technically connected to it. So you get really cool effects, and they work with different fall off curves, which I can change it to random. So if I press G and X, I get something like that. So that's exactly what I want. If I hit Alt H, I unhide that. I'm just going to select everything up here. I'm just going to move it on the O, which turns off that fall off. It should turn off that fall off, but it didn't. There we go. And I'm just going to move this back on the x-axis, and this one as well back on the x-axis. And I'm going to select all these crazy things and just really make that extreme. And then I'm going to come over to its material, and this is what the surface material, so these, what you can see here, that's what that is. And I'm just going to change that to transparent, so that if I were to render it, you can't see it. You can't see it at all. But if I go into the volume, which is everything that's inside of this area, then I can use that to add a, where is it? Translucent, transparent, volume absorption, volume scatter. There we go. So now when light passes through it, what it does is kind of acts like fog. And I'm going to make that a slightly blue shade as well, but not quite as much because the light's already blue. And it's really dense. Let's turn that down. I don't know how that affects it. Actually, the anisotropy. Anisotropy? Anisotropy? I'm going to make it more blue because it's... Let's try that out and turn the density up a little bit more. Oh, that's looking pretty cool. So now you got like that cool looking stuff coming out the back. It's green on the inside. That's pretty cool. Okay. So that's that. I'm just gonna get rid of that now because it was just for fun. We still have a lot of work to do on our humble little spaceship. Okay. That looks much better for the window. I really want to put another... I really want that window sharp. On the z-axis. On the x. So we've got some weird pinching going on up here. What is happening? Not sure what's going on. Okay, I see what's happening. Weird. Okay. Don't know how that happened. Yeah, okay, that's a weird thing to have happen, but we got some kind of weird separation. W, remove doubles. There we go. Add vertices that weren't connected to anything, and so it created a weird situation. Let's see, let's try to get this little pool of vertices pulled back on the X, so it creates a much nicer there we go. There we go. And if I can just pull this guy out. Pull that out to there. Pull this out a little bit, and G and the Z, and up. So you pull this down. There we go. That's looking much better. A little bit weirder, but still, it's not a conventional spaceship. Okay, let's pull this. Let's see, what do I want to do with this? Tighten that up. And then we'll take this and move it up. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Okay, so we've kind of got most of just the basic shape of our little aircraft. One of the next big steps is to start doing defining features. Which this is where it's really easy to get lost. I still think that it should be more flat on the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and add in just something to pull the bottom together. go. And now I'm trying to think of what else I could add to make it. The wing isn't curved enough. But I just want the back end curved, or the front end curved. My bad, not the back end. And then we could even go in and try to add some like realism and GG and just curve the top of the wing a little bit. So we get something like that. Which really in space, you don't need wings. I guess maybe if it's something that would re-enter an atmosphere, then you would need wings. But let's see. I don't know why I decided to model a spaceship. It's not something I'm relatively good at. Like, it was kind of a bad choice. I want to make this bigger. But so let's shift X. But I don't want it to look. It's not the worst it could look. It doesn't look great, but. Tilt it like that a little bit. There we go. And then just deselect all of this. Deselect that. Deselect all of this. Move this stuff down a little bit. And then we'll select all of this and deselect this extra bit. We'll just move it in. Just ooh. Okay, there we go. G on the Y. Just a little bit, and then we can deselect this stuff. There we go. That looks nicer. See, it was just that easy to do that much editing. Like, I wish I would have kind of rendered what it looked like before so we could have like an idea. And now I'm trying to just think about where I can put little details to. I mean, you don't want it to look this smooth. So what I'll do is I'll come in here. Let me see. Another thing that's good to work with is getting like references. So I'm gonna Google sci-fi space ship. And just look at some pictures. And they are much more blocky looking than what I've made. Oh, this looks freaking awesome. Let's see. Can I... Oh, this isn't Google? I didn't Google it, I Binged it because I'm using Internet Explorer. Or whatever it's called, Microsoft Edge. Bing? Who uses Bing? I'm pretty sure with Google Images, I can restrict my search to like, oh, whoa, shit, what the fuck? Is this Star Trek? Oh, all the sci-fi spaceships you know are on this picture. That's crazy. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna show this because it's so cool. Look at that, that's crazy. I don't see a Borg cube. Unless they're just some freaking massive ships. Okay. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get that out of there. Let's see. I want to change it to, let's see, search settings. Nope. More tools. Tools, that's what I want. Usage rights. There we go. So now I can bring this over here. We can look at some of these ships because these are all labeled for reuse. So I can't get in trouble for showing these results. I mean, this doesn't, I can't. Labeled for reuse or not, that's... None of these look cool. I mean, that's just... And that. Okay, well, screw it. So like I said, these are all a lot blockier. I like this one a lot. It's really cool. There's a TIE fighter. This one I saw, I was thinking was really cool. This is very smooth. I don't see how they would know where they're flying. This is cool. This is a Star Trek, somebody's little Star Trek ship. The port nacelles in the back. This one's pretty cool. This looks a lot like what I'm making right now. I mean, when I say a lot like, I mean, if you imagine this in a very crude, if you blur your vision, like, oh yeah, that might be what you're making. So I'm going to use this for some inspiration. Pull up my chat over here. There we go. And now we're just gonna, from now, I'll work with this little, except it doesn't matter. Does not matter. I don't understand how that's supposed to be the outside of the inside of that. Oh, it's up there. That's cool. That's cool shit, actually. But it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Let's see. So I'm gonna scrap this whole thing now, guys. We worked hard on it, got some principles down. Now we're starting from scratch. If I render, we have empty space. In fact, what do you guys want to see me model? Because we don't have to do a spaceship. If there's anything you want to see me model, say it. I'll let the lag catch up, because I know there's a lag between when I talk and when you guys hear it. Well, I guess I'm going to, let's see. I'm gonna go to, okay, here we go. All things, let's see. Quantity 15. Going to a random object generator. And I'll look through a list of items and I think refresh. A drill press, that's cool. Not really cool to model, but a logo, pixelated fashion. Well, like, what logo? You want me to just make a logo? That's a whole other job. There's people whose job it is to make logos. Let me see. First, okay, we'll do this. This is changed from a blended tutorial now. Let's see. I'm gonna have to open up Photoshop so we can first design the logo. What kind of pixely logo? So I'm gonna make a 32 by 32 document. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know words. I just know words. New 32 pixels by 32 pixels. Okay. We got this tiny little thing here. Okay, and we want to use a pencil tool. There we go. So, what kind of logo do we want to make? Look at his happy face. Happy face. Baby. Make hashtag believe in 3D or a pixelated logo of hashtag believe. Because I don't know how to make a logo. I can make a logo for hashtag believe, but a pixelated logo, a little bit harder. We could go in and do like a pixelated. We could go in with like a video filter and make hashtag believe pixelated with 3D extrusion, similar to how. Well, no, I know. Yeah, no, I know how to do that. I know how to do that, but do you just want a 3D extruded text of hashtag believe? I'm not sure what you're saying here. With 3D extrusions, similar, because I mean I can make 3D pixelated like voxels type stuff. I mean, it's not hard. If I show you over there, up there, stinking LEDs, that if you can see on the wall there, that link, that's link from A Link to the Past. I don't know if you can see that that's Link. You should let me know, because actually, you know what? I have an idea. No, I understand what you're saying for sure, because let me show you, because let me see. We can do this. We subdivide this several times. And then we'll come in, and if you hit extrude individual, you can actually get these little guys. And then check this out. The pivot point, we can change the pivot point from being, see it, Control Z. If I scale up and down now, it acts like it's all one connected plane. But if I change it, the pivot point from being the median point, which is what it's on now, or the bounding box center, I guess, we can change it to individual origins, which means for every little thing I have selected, the center of that thing is its own pivot point. So I can do that, like that, shrink them down a little bit, and then change the pivot point again to what it's normally at, and scale it up, and you get like this cool effect. Which, if I remember correctly, is essentially close to like what the Pixel movie. It actually looked more like an accumulation of cubes, like so it was like a 3D pixel, which a 3D pixel is called a voxel, just so you know. So let me grab, no, I don't want to, like, but see, I can do like 3D logos. It's refreshing. What's refreshing? Shoot. I don't know what's happening. I'll look up the Pixels movie logo just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Pixel. Yeah, okay, so I mean that's even less complex. Yeah, okay, and it's about as complex as I thought it was. Okay, so what I can do is like something like this. Extrude individual, and then come in and do individual origins and scale it down a little bit. And this is just like a quick and dirty way of doing something like that, and then scale it out a little bit. And we get something like this. And that could we could create like the mass of an object like that. And then you could create individual cubes that are about the same size as all the other ones. Move that down. So you get something like that going. Another thing you could do is Blender has a particle system that's really interesting. So we'll move this out of the way. And then 1 second. Back. I got a text that wasn't meant to reach me. Sorry. So we'll use the particle system here, and we'll change the particles to be an object, and we'll just make that object that cube I made. And so now we've got this cube here. We'll come up to end 200 or 1, actually 1. There we go. And then I can just tell it not to render the emitter. So if we hit Shift Z, let me add a light. We get something like that, which is really cool. And we could essentially trap something like that into, or even, let me see. Let me try something out. I've never done anything like what I'm about to do, so let's see what I can do. I think I know what I'm doing though. Let's do. So now we've got that. Let's turn it into a particle emitter. New. Group. Nope. Object. Yes. That cube. Okay. Come up to the emission. End at 1. Enter. R on the X. 90. G on the Y. G on the Z. Let's add a camera. Alt R. Alt G. On the X. 90. G on the Y. Move that sucker back, G on the Z, move it up a little bit. 0, G on the Z, G on the X, G on the Y. Back onto this. Render. Don't render the emitter. So we've got something like that. What do you think about that? If we go to the next frame, and as we skip forward frames, it all kinds of falls. So what we could do is have it end at 15. And the number, let's just take that up to 5,000. So 5,000 frames and 5,000 cubes in 15 frames. Oh, that looks weird. Let's see. Say 60 frames. And I really want that to be, there we go. Oh, that's not what I meant to be doing at all. Well, I mean, color is something much easier to add, and I mean, more detail would be just a matter of shrinking the cubes. Actually, what I should do is, let's see. Let's see. Emission. There's somewhere. I don't remember where it is. That's not what I wanted at all. Don't want even distribution. No, you do want even distribution. There you go. Velocity, rotation. There we go. So now we got like this cool, just subtle 0.01. There we go. Just to emphasize, because that light is in a weird spot, you can't really. Shift Z, not Control Z. think what I'll do is move this like that, and then Shift C on this. And we should, yeah, start to see way more detail. And I mean, color is a matter of, color doesn't matter because that's an afterthought. Color, that's one of the last things you do in Blender is color. But let's see, new. You make it blue. I mean, color is an afterthought. You can even make you make some of them glow. So like if why do you have it? Shift E on the Y. Shift E on the X. Shift E on the Y. And then I'll select these four. Come on, and I'll make a group. So now that they're green, that means they're grouped together. And I'm just gonna call this group something. If let's see, where's it at? Probably over here. There we go. Call that group cube group. Cube group. There we go. And then I can come over here and mess with this particle stuff. And rather than setting it to object, I'll come over to group and make it cube group. So let's just move that over, move this over, go into the camera, there we go. Trying to make sure that those fine little details are still there. Cool. And we can change one of these, have it a different color. We'll make it like a deeper red. So now one of the cube, for one out of every 4 cubes, has a more red color. And then what we'll do is come back over here. I really want to see. So wow, that looks pretty cool. That's something else altogether. So if we were to see this full screen, it would look something like this at this point. So yeah, I mean, and then from here, we could even actually, I have an idea. Let's make one of these cubes that are red, like the not deep red, the light red. Let's make one of those glow. Oh, ha, I see what I did. Never mind, I messed it all up. I forgot to make it its own material. So let's go back to this one and make it diffuse. There we go. So now you got, if we just mesh plane, we can get rid of this light up here. Make it real big. That looks pretty cool. I really, oh, the camera's at a weird angle. Well, I mean, and again, like all the stuff that you're talking about is all after this stuff, because with Blender, everything is workable. So, like, if you wanted to add a background layer or something, what I'm gonna do is Control up. I mean, really, the best way to add a background layer I'm just gonna turn this down for now, just because there we go. I want to be able to move around quickly. Control home? Alt home? There we go. That's alt home. Okay. So really the best thing to do for this, at least, would be to like a green screen kind of thing, like what I did with the spinny, which would be something like that. And then you would want to do some crazy node work, which I guess we could get into nodes really quick. Nodes are how you make materials. It's pretty fun. So we have this, which actually shouldn't be diffused. I don't know what I'm working on. Oh shit, no. Okay, whatever. I want to be in the world material. So back over to here. And the background, I want the background to be green. Because it's like a polar opposite of your color that I've got there, the red. And then we want to make a mix shader. And then we want to make the factor. We want to make an input that is, I guess, a light path, of course, and is diffuse ray. We don't have anything glossy in here. Oh, you know what? We need to go back to this guy and amp up our so now, as you can see, there's no green shining on this, because if we just took this green up to here, you see all the green that hits? But if we use this, it tells it not to go on diffuse materials. And connect this back to you, surface. There you go. And now it acts like it's in the dark. We could even make this a little bit lighter, just so we can see it a little bit more. And I mean, and if you want this less random looking, we can come over here, velocity, get rid of that. Let's see. There we go, that's getting closer. But yeah, and then what you would do from here is just, if you wanted to put a background on it, you could green screen it. You could even let's see. Let's see. There we go. And now we do this. So the getting it to pour out almost is the hardest part, I think, to create that pour look. Why am I doing one? Because it just wants to dump it all out at the same time, which I mean would be cool for some things, but not really for this. I guess what I could do, let's see. There's a way. I know that there is. I just don't remember how to do it. So that I could turn what's actively on this frame, I could make that its own object. Control Z. That's not what I wanted to do. Also not what I meant to do. Let's try doing this. This might work to our favor. So what I did just now was I set it so that when these are created and they're emitted, there's a random velocity change from z, so that maybe others will be spit out faster than. But it's not on it's on some weird z-axis. But what does that even look like right now? Yeah, okay, that's not what I wanted at all. Let's see, 0.01. Negative 0.1. Alt A. Let's see what we get going here. So there's definitely a lot of movement going on, but it needs more. -1. Okay. So Y 0 -1. There we go. It's getting closer. Random point. Nope, just 1. Nope, it does too much of the exploding looking thing. Object. I guess what I could do is make much less of these. Let's see. So make less of that, let's just leave that like that and duplicate it. Oh, no, Control D. Cancel. I don't know what I'm doing. Shift D, I'm using Photoshop shortcuts. And then G on the Y. Just use way less of these, so like 500. Okay. And then, back onto the 500 layer, we'll just turn gravity on. 9.8. Okay. We can just jump forward a few frames. How about that? I could even, maybe, let's change, this down to like 3. What did I do? Okay. There we go. And then for all intents and purposes, that is fucking like the Pixel logo, sort of. I mean, if you like, you could do the same thing with any mesh. So, whatever complex design you want to make like that. Here we've got, it'll just freeze it in time, and then we could even go into Photoshop and get rid of some of these down here. Or even go back to the layer behind this one and add more. Let's see. Right now I've got it set so that you can't see 100% of them, but and like I said, we'll get rid of that green background just so you can get a better idea. Come on. Node editor, please. Just gonna plug in a black background. Get a light in here. There we go. Give it a quick render. Escape. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Go to my render settings, which are this little camera button here. 100%. My computer's not handling all this very well. Yeah, of course. If I just hit F12, control up, control up. So I'm rendering this out at 1080p. You can render it whatever resolution you want. I don't know if my camera stopped just there. So this is without, I would definitely recommend doing it with a green background like I made, because this black background is going to give you problems whenever you come to areas like this where it's really dark in there. But yeah, so there we have our image, which is relatively high resolution. I mean, it's 1080p, so I really like the way this H looks over here. And even if you wanted to, you could go in and just create individual cubes that were the same size as these little particle cubes. You could go in with those and place them manually wherever you wanted them. So you could create a manual look if you wanted to do that. Control up. Let's merge this over here. But yeah, ideally you would have, dang it, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. So if I come into the node editor, go back to the world, plug you up to here, take you, put you in here. So F12, render this image out. So see, before, where it's just dark, but there are holes kind of in this, which kind of I think look nice. It differentiates between the holes and the darkness. If it were black, it would all just be, it would select all of that blackness. But the green doesn't affect any of what the actual object is. So once this renders, I'll save it as an image, and I'll take it over to Photoshop, and we'll do a quick selection and get rid of some of this stuff down here, and maybe even move some of this stuff down here, like over here. I don't know if the perspective might mess with us or not. Okay, so come over here to image. Go to save as image. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. I'll make a new folder, tutorial folder, and I'll save it in there as untitled PNG. That's good. So now I can just minimize that, open up Photoshop. Where is tutorial folder? Oh, that's messing about. Tutorial folder. So now we've got this. I'm just going to go to select, color range, this green, not localized, 0 fuzziness, delete, so we still got a lot of green in here. So Control D, Control Z, Control Alt Z, Control Alt Z, Control D. Let's try the magic wand tool with a tolerance of, yeah, 50 is good. Okay, no, not contiguous. Select color range. Delete. Select color range one more time. Okay. And now we've got it so that we can put whatever we want in the background. Let's see. Let's see. That's what I'm looking for. Got a nice banana. And then what I'll do is just there we go. Move these to like over here a little bit. And then the rest of them, I'm just going to cut out of the picture. Even that's too far down. And then there we go. That's the hate layer logo right there. I'm the winner. Okay. Hopefully, the number of people watching is probably 1 or 2. But I hope the 2 of you learned something. Specifically Hate, because he was asking questions. Did you learn anything? I would hope so. But I'll wait for your answer. I had great music throughout the whole thing, so there's that too. Music that I own a license for, awesomely enough. My stream is way behind. There we go, live. I've thrown my hands in the air just now, so that's still pretty far behind. Let me look at the chat because I made it go away. Oh, hiccup. It's turned into, I mean, fairly successful. Well, I mean, I did a lot of Blender work. We got to make a little logo, which doesn't look bad. P-A-N-A-N-A-S. Yeah, I mean, I hope that you gathered. I mean, I know it's easier to just tell someone how to do something than to actually sit down and do it. But I hope that you gathered enough information to kind of like start trying it out. And the more you try it out, it's gonna take practice no matter what. But the more you try it out, the more you learn. And like I said, like you could definitely do even more with more time and more of an idea of what you want. There's all kinds of ways to do one thing, so and then again you can like completely, you could just put a bunch of cubes together and do the whole thing like legit a huge, I mean, there's other ways I'm thinking of doing it now, but this is one way to do it. If you want a more neat, like arrayed kind of thing, there is an array modifier, which you start with one and you can stack it up in a sideways, and then you can stack it up the other way, and then create like this whole cube monster array cycle, and then up, and then like individually form each thing. I mean, there's countless ways of doing anything in Blender. It's the same way with any software. But yeah, I mean, I think for as far as a live tutorial goes, this was pretty successful. Thank you for watching, everyone who did even just stop by once and then left. Even those people, thank you. This is gonna go up as a video, so if you see it and you're like, oh, that guy is not